Hi. Okay, in this video we're going to look at the shift in UK adult traffic after the Online Safety Act implemented age verification rules a few weeks ago. So let's have a look at what's happened. Well, it's kind of something strange really. So UK age verification for adult websites became mandatory in the UK under the Online Safety Act. So if you go into an adult website, you have to prove that you're over 18 before you're allowed in, basically. Now, the biggest adult websites, the sort of well-known brands like Pornhub, for instance, have seen their UK traffic absolutely collapse. Not surprisingly, really. Some have lost around 40%, others about 77%. But here's the strange part. Well, is it strange? I don't know. But a handful of adult sites that ignored the age verification rules completely, just pretended they didn't exist, are actually gaining traffic. Some have even doubled their visitor numbers, and this has all happened within the last few weeks. So today we're going to have a look at the available data and see why this is happening and what it means for the future of online safety in the UK. Okay, first of all, we just want to focus on the fundamental problem with online age checks. And to do this, before diving into the traffic numbers, I'm going to just refer you to somebody who perhaps grasps the inherent complexities of an online age verification system, which people, particularly politicians, just oversimplify. I'll reference Alia Bhatia, a policy analyst at the Centre for Democracy and Technology, who did a Washington Post interview on this sort of subject about the Online Safety Act. It's here. I'll put a reference to it in the description below if you want to read it. It's not paywalled or anything. So anyway, she said, basically, it's a lot more complex than showing your ID before you enter a pub. This is the example some politicians have used of saying digital IDs or age verification. It's just like going into the pub. But the UK law, however, is built upon two fundamental false assumptions. First of all, the silver bullet myth, the idea that there's an easy, affordable and privacy-friendly method to universally verify every single user's age online. It's fundamentally flawed. It doesn't exist. There are costs and privacy risks to every age verification because you have to put something of yourself online to do that. And the second is kind of linked, but it's ignoring user privacy. There's an assumption that users simply don't care about their rights or privacy, and it's totally incorrect. This oversight explains the surge in VPN usage and the evasion of ID checks, which, if you read the comment section in this channel, you'll see it's a very big issue for people, privacy and a very fundamental right in many people's opinion. So the critical misunderstanding of this sets the stage for the traffic collapse, the shift to non-compliant sites and the unintended consequences we're going to have a little look at now. So when the Online Safety Act's age verification rules kicked in at the end of July, the biggest adult platforms moved pretty fast. They added ID checks, face scan tools, third-party age gates, and the effect was instant. The new traffic data from late summer and early autumn, when the Online Safety Act kicked in, showed 40 to 50% drops in all the major adult sites practically instantly. There was a 77% fall in one of the biggest ones. This was from SimilarWeb data reported in the press, 77%. It's like 3/4 of the traffic. And overall, although they can't be 100% sure, Ofcom has confirmed the general trend that UK adult site traffic dropped by roughly 1/3 in the months after the law went live. Now, you can't be exactly sure if this is correct for a couple of reasons that I'll come into. But this is exactly what you'd expect when you introduce friction. Millions of users now face ID scans and face verification screens before they can access anything on these adult websites. And naturally, people are not overly keen to upload their passport to a porn site. But you'll see next that the friction pushed traffic somewhere else entirely. There are lots of unexpected winners. basically the sites that don't have any age checks. The Washington Post article, if you have a look at it, recently highlighted this study, and in that article it references the 90 most visited adult sites in the UK. It doesn't list them all, but it's just got the data. And out of those 90, it said 14 sites did not implement age verification at all. This is out of the top 90. And every single one of those 14 saw huge increases in UK traffic. In one case, traffic doubled, going from about 150,000 visits a month to over 300,000. This pattern now appears in multiple UK media reports from the last few weeks, so it's quite genuine. So basically, as the big compliant platforms, adult platforms, lose users, a swarm of people are going to ones that ignore the law, often smaller, less moderated, and more risky. And remember this, it says now enforcement isn't happening fast enough to stop that shift. But remember, adult websites hosted in countries outside the UK jurisdiction are not going to be easy to enforce anything. They're not subject to UK laws and fines, and Ofcom can send them nasty letters. But if they go straight in the bin, there's not much they can do about them. So there's another piece to this puzzle, VPNs. These adult verification checks are not surprisingly driving people to VPNs. So VPN usage spiked dramatically. Industry suggests it jumped to well over 1 million users a day. So remember, this is important because if you use a VPN, the age verifications don't apply. All you have to do is pick a country outside the UK, go to an adult website, and you will 99 times out of 100, you won't be prompted for age verification. I say many here, many adult sites, but most adult sites, I think nearly all of them, only apply age checks when they have to, i.e. to UK visitors. If you own a VPN, then you instantly bypass the entire system. So, what's the overall picture? Well, the pie shrinks but some slices grow effect, it could be called. So overall UK adult traffic has fallen by around a third according to Ofcom, so the number of people going, they think, to adult sites is smaller, and many people might think that's a good thing. But inside that smaller pie, non-compliant sites, so sites that just basically ignore all the laws, are grabbing a bigger slice. Now, I think we can all see the dangers in this. I mean, it's called traffic arbitrage because compliant sites, the ones who are trying to follow the laws, are losing users because they've added that friction. You know, they've added that, yes, come and see our lovely pictures, but give us your passport first. It's not a great sell for an adult porn site. Users don't disappear. These users are not just saying, well, I'll not go to adult websites. They're going to other sites without any controls. There's millions and millions of sites like this all over the world. Those sites, ironically, end up being rewarded in the short term. So even though it looks like there are fewer people overall visiting adult sites in the UK's, the ones who aren't complying with the rules are seeing more visitors. So there's something called an enforcement lag happening, and it's a key reason it's happening. So Ofcom has confirmed it's now investigating 34 adult websites. We haven't seen the names yet, but I would expect to see them quite soon. At the moment, they haven't named any of them publicly. There's been no major fines against adult websites. And the strongest powers, the main power they've got is ordering ISPs to block sites, are coming soon. That's the only really thing they can do to a lot of these sites. But it creates an obvious incentive. If you're an adult website owner, you can either follow the rules and incur huge costs for putting in adult verification and watch your traffic plummet, so your income will fall, your users will fall, and you'll have bigger costs. Or you can don't comply, just carry on as normal, and your traffic will go up until something nasty, the Ofcom catches up with you, which they won't in many extents. So this gap between regulation and real enforcement is exactly why the UK is seeing such weird adult traffic patterns. So why does this matter for safety and privacy? Well, there is a serious consequence to all this. By pushing users away from the best known, better regulated platforms and onto smaller offshore sites with no age checks, the adult verification and the online safety law is probably reducing safety, reducing moderation in many of these sites, increasing the risk of scams, malware, tracking and unsafe content, because remember, you're going to these dodgy sites that don't have a proper business model and don't follow the rules. And the standards are lower all the way around, and they're pushing millions of adults also into using VPNs. But I think every adult should use a VPN, and especially if you're in the UK. So privacy groups warned this would happen. An identity-first model drives people to the shadows and to the dodgy places, and it doesn't protect them. And it looks like they're kind of right. So what do you think? Is the Online Safety Act doing its job, or has it really just created a temporary adult traffic loophole where the compliant companies suffer and the non-compliant ones get rewarded? I'd love to hear what you think in the comments if you amazingly made it to the end of this long video. And if you found this breakdown useful, make sure you hit like, subscribe if you'd want to see more. And we try and cover these UK tech and privacy stories every week. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.